Hey, this is Stephen Collier. I just wanted to take a minute to kind of give you a little bit of my story, my testimony of just who exactly it is I am. I was born and raised in the Permian Basin, the great, Midland, Odessa. As a young child, I went to the neighborhood Presbyterian church. Kind of got to, did what the right thing to do is go to church on Sunday, you know, go to the great grandmother's house to eat lunch after church, did that every week doing what it was we were supposed to do. About the time I hit ninth grade, we finally made a transition over to more of a non-denominational church. That's where it really kind of started impacting my life and kind of making a change. That's when we started going to church, doing the church camps. So that's why I got to be a big proponent of student church camps, because it was at a Christ and Youth Conference in Gunnison, Colorado, my junior year eventually. Is when I finally accepted Jesus Christ into my life. Went off to college. I went off to Angelo State University. Once I came back from San Angelo, I moved back to Odessa, and I met this incredible woman, Cindy, which is now my wife. And that made a huge impact on my life. Before Cindy, I was a wild child. I was going and doing things that I probably shouldn't have been doing. Once I met her, we got married in the Methodist church, but it felt like we fell in that same old, we go to church on Sundays, we're going to argue, we'll go to Luby's to eat lunch type of deal. And then whenever nothing was happening in our lives, we ended up going to a wonderful church called Stonegate Fellowship there in Midland. That's where it really probably made the biggest impact in my life. It really started making some changes, changing the way how I felt about being a husband and a father, how to be with other people, how to help with people. Going through that is where I found where I actually started kind of participating in church. I started working in the worship tech department there, getting to be a director. I directed, I ran the words, I did the lighting for them, and got to do all that kind of stuff. During that process, while I was at Tech, I was approached by a bunch of my Tech guys, and they decided, hey, why don't we have a guys' week? We got kids camp. They all went and did the worship, and they convinced me that it was going to be a guys' trip, that we were going to get to go to kids camp. And I told them up front, I'm not a kids person. I got two boys of my own. Those are the only two kids I like. I don't want anything to do with it, but they promised me it was going to be a guys' weekend. We were going to get to worship in the morning, worship in the evening, and hang out the rest of the time. That's where things really went on a spin for me and really kind of changed me. When I went there, I started doing it. I found myself, I had a little bit too much free time, and I noticed the videographer over there just killing himself trying to make videos for the kids while they were at camp and stuff. And I goofed up and asked him, hey, do you need any help? Once that happened, I got a camera in my hand, and I started actually engaging with the kids, and things took a change. Man, I fell in love with all these kids. I wanted to make an impact in these kids' lives. Came back from camp that first year, and I found myself doing the tech worship over there in the main auditorium wasn't my thing, and ended up pivoting and moving over to actually the kids department and helping run the tech over there. I could really just see the life in these kids and changing these kids' lives. And so I started doing church camps. I did that. I started that in like 2013. I did it all the way to 2016. Even after I moved from West Texas to Montgomery, I was still going back and helping those kids for another year. I moved to Montgomery in 2015. In that interim, while I'm working with all that, one of my favorite things, because I was so involved with the tech department, was I did get an opportunity to become the assistant producer for the video crew for an event that we have out in West Texas called Rock the Desert. It's a 3-day Christian rock concert festival, and I really got a chance to really dig in with other people, meet a lot of cool bands, and got to do that. And I did that from like 2010 to 2018. Again, I kept continuing to go back to West Texas for Rock the Desert, getting to do that. That's when, in the middle of doing Rock the Desert, was one of those times where I found one of those promises, and a big lesson that I learned about God's promises and how His Word is true and faithful. When I remember being in high school, going to a concert, and as I was walking out, I was looking around at all the tech stuff before I had any kind of inclination that I was really into that kind of stuff. And I remember God telling me, one day I'm going to use you to praise me doing this stuff. I completely forgot about it. It was like my second or third year into Rock the Desert, and we were out there, prepping everything. And I was out for a run that night, kind of clearing my head, trying to get things ready for things to kick off that year. And as I'm running, I just remember this small voice telling me, remember my promises then. I'd completely forgot about it. And that's when I realized, dude, God's promises are true. He'll tell you something. It may not happen right then, but eventually that thing will come around to his promises. And I was able to do that all the way up until 2018. Sitting there getting that opportunity for something that he told me that he would do, something, that wasn't even a possibility at that time, to turn around and come full circle to actually do something. That he is a man of his word, that he does keep his promises. From then, back on the track, I moved to Montgomery back in 2015. Here, I kind of struggle. I love Stonegate so much. I love the family. I love the culture and everything else with it. That when we moved here to Montgomery in 2015, we really struggled with finding a church that had that same kind of heart. We spent several years looking around trying to find something. Found a couple of local churches around here that we tried to. We tried to go with the same size, tried to go a little bit smaller. Nothing ever felt the same. It wasn't until my two boys started coming. They started up this youth group thing at North Shore. My first thing was going, hey, North Shore is not really our kind of church, but hey guys, y'all go out there, man, kill it. Y'all have fun. I'm glad y'all are getting involved. That's just not for us. It wasn't until their first year going to camp, the first year that they sent the kids to camp, Logan and Cash ended up going to camp. Of course, being the supportive parent we're supposed to be, that next Sunday, we went to North Shore to show how supportive we were as parents. And through listening to them and going to camp and what they had to say, it really kind of started to change things. And I was like, I don't know, maybe this is the place for us. The next year, they wanted to go to camp. We were like, hey, go have fun. But, and they kept trying to tug at us going, we really like the people here at North Shore. And I was going, I just don't know. After that second year, JJ was given a sermon, which is our pastor there at North Shore, started up a series. And I went, well, it was intriguing. And I went, well, let's hear it. My wife and I decided, let's hear him out for this series. We'll see how well it works. After the first series, we went, well, maybe it was a fluke. We'll try him for a second series. Listen to the second series. It was still pretty good. We kept pushing in. JJ kind of challenged us with some stuff. Really started to push in. We finally joined North Shore back in 2022. There's been a lot of challenges, a lot of, pushing in. I never really read my Bible. I always had a Bible. Never really read it. It was just always there. It wasn't until we started coming in and JJ pushing us to where I started getting into the Word a little bit more. I was all into praise music. I listened to worship music all the time. I never really got into the Word. And this is the first time I really started getting into the Word, started really digging in, and started asking some of those harder questions like, why me? Why would you do this? Why would you care for us? And who, trying to find out who God is, and then truly who I am. I've been going through that journey now for the last couple of years. I've got some of the answers. Some of those answers I'm still pushing into, but that's kind of my testimony so far. This is an ongoing adventure. It's a lifelong journey. I know I'll never understand get all my questions answered on this side of heaven. On the other side, I'm sure I'll get all those answers. But, for now, it's still that journey. It's that sweet journey. I love growing with my family, with my small group, with our community. That, in a nutshell, is my brief testimony. If anybody would ever like to hear a little bit more of what I have to say or have questions about this, I would love for y'all to give me a call. I'm always here. I'm always willing to sit there and talk to somebody about their relationship with Christ or just what that kind of means. So my cell phone number is 936-276-9699. If y'all ever have any questions or questions for me or questions about what my journey is, give me a call. I'd love to help y'all out with that. Again, thanks for taking your time to sit here and listen to this entire video. Thank y'all, and God bless.